Hi guys, today I'm doing the lovely Nita's makeup for when she was going out clubbing. She wanted something that was a little bit smoky, a little bit glittery, but not too smoky and not too glittery. So let's get going. So I start off just by using some micellar water on the skin. I use 2 cotton pads just because it's quicker and it's also a lot nicer for the client as well. And then I do the same trick with 2 cotton pads, but this time I'm going in with toner, just to, what's it called, like balance the pH of the skin or whatever it is. And then I go in with a brush and I put some moisturizer all over her skin, and this one actually doubles as a primer. I'm pretty sure the one that I use is the Kiehls Ultra Hydration Primer Moisturizer, but it's got priming properties. Let's just go with that, shall we? Now I'm going in with foundation. I'm mixing the EX1 Invisiwear in the shade F200 with a little bit of face and body, just to sheer it out a little bit, because she's actually got really, really nice skin, so she didn't really need a lot of coverage, but I did want her foundation to match her neck, so that's why I had to go a little bit darker than what her face color was, but I promise it'll all tie in the end. So I'm using a duo fiber buffering brush with that, and I put everything on a tray to mix it up, and then I just distribute it all over the face so that it's nice and even. I did get her to take her hoodie off just to make sure that everything matched, because sometimes people may have a redder neck or a darker neck than their chest, so I wanted everything to look really, really seamless. And I'm actually going with conceal. I'm using the Pro Conceal. I was going to use the Naked Skin as well, but I actually didn't. I just used the Pro Conceal because I really, really like how warm it is and how it covers up all the dark circles. So I just put a little bit of that on the tray, and then I use a blending brush, which most people would use for the eyeshadow, but I actually use this to blend out concealer. Then it's really, really, really seamless and it works perfectly. Then I'm going to put a little bit of that on her forehead as well and make sure I buff that out. Then I'm going to highlight just down her nose as well, just to give it a little bit of a highlight. Then I just go around the edges with that foundation brush to make sure everything is nice and seamless. Now I'm going in with the Kevyn Aucoin Essential Skin Enhancer, and I think it's SX01. And I just put a little bit of that under her eyes just to cover the dark patches she had. Now I'm going with the Nye Cameo Powder just for under her eyes, just to give it a little bit of lightness there. Now I'm just going to put that everywhere that I highlighted, and I'm going to go in with a Mercier translucent powder for the rest of the face. She did have a little bit of oily skin, so I did use it all over her face, but you don't have to use powder on everyone's face all over. Now I'm going with the Dip Brow Pomade by Anastasia in Taupe, and I'm just going to brush through her brows with a disposable spoolie. Then I'm going to go in with an angled brush and just start at the edge of her brows and then work my way in, because then it will start off darker and kind of work its way in with a little bit of an ombre. I don't really dip much into the product after the first time. And then I kind of flick up the brows on the inside as well, and then I grab that spoolie again and just make sure that everything is nice and combed through and blended nicely as well. Now I'm going to go in with the MAC Paint Pot and Groundwork. I'm going to pop that all over her eyes with a blending brush. I don't want it to be too dark. This is just working as a base. She did have a little bit of oil on her lid, so this will just help clear that up, and it will make sure that the eyeshadow doesn't move. Now with the Tarte Lip Palette by Tarte, I'm going to go in with the shade, I think this is Wanderer, and I'm going to use that as my transition shade. And I'm just using a MAC, I think it says 227 or a 225, and I'm just buffing that, and it's going to make the Groundwork paint pot a little bit more seamless, and it's going to give us a really, really nice transition with the darker shades that we're going to go in with as well. Now I'm going with this little bit of a darker brown, and I'm just going to start to kind of sculpt out the eyes a little bit and add a little bit more depth. I didn't really want to add a really, really heavy eye because she's got really, really lovely eyes. I didn't really want to hide anything, and that's not the kind of makeup that she was asking for either. So I'm just really, really making sure that I blend that in. Pretty much throughout the entire process, I just blend and blend and blend. Now I'm going to go in with the Colourpop Colour Game On. Best way to apply this is with my finger. Now I did make sure that I sanitized my hands before I went in with it, and I just use it in kind of a dabbing, slightly swiping motion, and it works really, really nicely when I do that. Really, really pigmented, and it comes out really, really nicely on the lid. I'm going in with a darker brown shade, and I'm just going to make sure that everything's blended and add a little bit more depth and a little bit more smoke in now. And I'm using a little bit more of a detailed brush just so I can make sure that the colour goes exactly where I want it to go, and that it blends out to the consistency that I want it to be as well, because if the blending brush you use is too big, it'll go into a place you don't want it to. Now I'm just grabbing a bone shade and just blending everything into kind of the brow area so you can't see where everything starts and finishes. Now I'm going in with a black, and I'm actually going to take that on an angled brush and just smudge that into her lash line because it will make her lashes really pop, and it will also prepare the lashes for false lashes as well. And what I do is I kind of press it in and then I flick upwards slightly because it will kind of work its way into the other shadows a bit nicely. I didn't want like a really seamless line. So as you can see, I kind of flick up a bit and just make sure that everything kind of blends in nicely. Now I'm going in with a little bit of a champagne-y page. This is from the Morphe 350S palette. I'm just going to use that for the inner corner highlight. I'm just going to really nicely blend that in and just chuck it on the inner corner, kind of into the top and the lower lash line as well. Now I'm going to go in with that same transition shade, and with the same 3 colours, I'm just going to pop that all under the lash line. With this very first shade, I am going to pop that all the way under, right onto the inner part of the eye. This is what's going to create a little bit more smoke for us. Now I'm going to take that next darkest brown shade and just pop that all under the lid, and this time go about 3/4 of the way through. So I kind of start off with full all the way into that kind of corner of the eye and then kind of work my way back. Then with the very darkest colour, I'm going to pop that just on the outer part of the eye and make sure that it connects with the rest of it. Now with the Tarte Gifted Mascara, I am going to go in with a disposable spoolie and put that all through her lashes and comb them up. And I just get her to kind of look down but not close her eyes. She had really long and really thick lashes, so she is so lucky. But it also did make the mascara job a little bit harder because there was a lot of lashes to get through. Then for her lower lashes, I get her to look straight ahead, because if she looked up, then her mascara on her top lashes would kind of go everywhere. And I make sure I use the spoolie to really work with what I want it to do. Now for bronzer, I'm going to go in with the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer and the Milk Chocolate Soleil, and I kind of mix them both together and work myself from light to dark just to make sure that it's nice and seamless. I'm just going to bronze the skin with that to add a little bit of warmth, and I bronze upwards. I never really bronze down, and I just make sure I buff that really nicely into the skin. And I make sure that goes right into the lash line as well, because I don't want you to be able to see where everything starts and ends. And I just go onto her forehead as well, just to add a little bit more dimension and add a little bit of a sun-kissed glow to her as well. Then for contouring, I'm going to be using the Anastasia contour kit. I'm going to use that middle shade, and it gave me a lot of colour. I wasn't expecting so much colour to come out, so you will see that I do go in a bit later and blend it out because it deposits a lot of colour. I was quite surprised, but I do use that to contour her jawline a little bit as well, to add a little bit of definition. Now I'm just going back in with Milk Chocolate Soleil just to blend out that contour shade, because it didn't really work with what I wanted it to do, but it's easy to fix. Just make sure you blend if something deposits a little bit more colour than you wanted it to. Now for blush, I'm going to use one of those Tarte blushes. It's just a really soft kind of deepish mauve, and just buff that into her cheeks, and I get her to smile a little bit even though she really didn't want to, just so I could see the points of her cheeks that I wanted that little pop of colour to be. Now with Soft and Gentle by MAC and a blending brush by Morphe, I'm going to be popping that on the tops of her cheekbones just to add a little bit of a pop. And hello, of course I added a highlight. Come on, honey. Then I got her to pop to the side for me just so we could really admire that highlight. Yes, honey, yes. I did put lashes on, but my camera cut out without me noticing. But I did just use half lashes, not full strip lashes, but just half on her eye, because she's never ever worn false lashes before, so I didn't really want to start her out on a full massive pair of wispies or anything like that. Then I'm going to go in with the Kylie Cosmetics lip gloss in Like on a disposable doe foot applicator and just pop that all over her lips. This is a really nice soft kind of nudish brown lip gloss, which is awesome for this look that we're going for as well. Then to finish off, I'm using the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray, and I'm just going to spritz that all over her face to make sure nothing moves. And that is the completed look. I really hope you guys enjoyed this type of video. Let me know down below if you did, and I will see you in my next item. Bye!